Hi everyone, I'm Kimberly Cox and I'm going to be talking to you about art in churches of the Middle Ages. Alright, so basically this is just an overview of the Middle Ages. It was in Western Europe between 500 and CA 1000. During this time, churches were the most powerful, so people like kings and queens would make alliances with the churches just because they knew how powerful they really were at the time. Um, Most people in the Middle Ages, they were illiterate, which means that they could not read. So the things, like a lot of the things that they have during this time, like the books and like their religious kind of books and stuff, they are all just pictures, like the sermons. They're just pictures, so that way they can convey the messages to the people who cannot read. Churches of the Middle Ages. The Book of Kells, it contains four Gospels that are written in Latin. Only the pages of the book were found. The actual cover, which is made of gold and gems, has yet to be found. The pages that have been found were written on a type of animal skin called vellum, which was actually calf skin, and the texture of it made for smooth writing. 680 pages were recovered, but only two of those didn't have pictures, so that goes back to what I just said about people being illiterate and they have to convey their messages through pictures. And up to 10 colors were in each picture, which was pretty good for that time period. And these colors did not come cheap. They were expensive and they had to be imported from different places. Sculpture. The tympanum was an archway above like an entry of a church. It contained the figure of Jesus in the center, and he was usually surrounded by mandorla, sorry, which is light and an oval shape. His followers or like other people, usually like typically off to the side of him, kind of like looking up to him, like as if he's saying something to them, and they're all like listening and interested. And then we have an archivolt, which is the art above the tympanum, and it shows zodiac signs, and also it shows labors of the month. Sculpture continued. The Chumu, um, there were columns. So as you can see, like in the middle right there, between like under the time panum, sorry, and there were columns made out of marble, and they were usually like contained pictures of like animals, such as like lions or just people, and it was like really common to find them in between and under the archways. Painting. This was a really common painting from the Middle Ages. It was Madonna and Child. And despite the name Madonna and Child, it's Mary holding her youngest child, Jesus, in her lap. And what's interesting about this is that their faces are toward the viewer instead of toward each other, like making a mother son connection. And Jesus, if you look at his face, he has more adult like features than he does like baby features. He doesn't have like really like a baby face. But when you look at them, this painting has like good details, so you can see that it's like a family resemblance between like facial expressions. Alright, painting continued. Their painting was often based on religion in the early Middle Ages. They had fresco in churches. Usually, they didn't have portrait paintings, and they used usually duller colors. But then, toward the middle of the Middle Ages, they started going toward more Gothic, where they had brighter colors. They started to have symmetry in their paintings, and then they started to have like a better understanding of depth and the way people perceive things. So then they started to convey shadow and light into the paintings. Decorative arts. Reliquaries. Sorry about that. Um, there's like little boxes that were used to hold mementos and important things to families. They were usually decorated in gold, silver, and gems. And just like everything else at this time, they contained many pictures that they called narrative scenes that told a story, basically. And my works cited. And that is all. Thank you